Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 of your loser bracket finals between TRAX and BPro. TRAX currently leading 1-0 here. I am once again what you got, rejoined by Fa. So Fa, what's BPro got to do here to get game number 2 on their side and force a game number 3?
Oh, well, first of all, they need to address the heal heroes like Soul Reaper and the Minute Shaman. And I think yesterday they tried to do that by picking up a first pick Sulfuras. That clearly didn't work. So I think they need to ban those heroes and maybe accept that the side of VC will pick up maybe some of the defensive supports like a Monarch. But it seems like they're just going to go with their same style of bans as they usually do and ban Monarch and Fora, and I suppose they're going to ban the Cursed as well, even though it's a bit odd to me because I
think Pearl banned that. Yeah.
Because he usually ban, I've seen him ban a Curse quite a bit, but he also likes to pick a Curse a lot, so he actually bans a Flux here.
Okay.
And I can see the Yanko already right-clicking the Soul Reaper, so it seems like that first pick Soul Reaper might be something that they're considering.
Okay.
Cool.
They first picked it last game, right? I believe it was.
I think they did. Yeah.
Okay. He wants to pick Moira. Okay. Didn't I say Moira would have been an interesting pick last game? It's not something we see nowadays too often. First pick Moira, but I know Max is a pretty prominent Moira player. I remember him playing a lot of Moira.
Yeah.
But you know what a Moira pick usually responds with or addresses is a Moraxis pick.
Yep. That's that was no hesitation there.
Which was instantly snap picked. And we don't typically see Moraxis first pick, but here I think it's warranted. And I will say, we have seen a lot of very solid Moraxis play over the last week, mostly in Star League, where that hero just has been shining. I almost have yet to see a poor Moraxis performance. And usually it's, I think Yagar Dig plays that. He plays a pretty good Moraxis. Also, Volca, I think, plays a really good Moraxis on the other side. So it's always something that they could probably pick up for themselves as well.
Yeah.
I'm a little curious by the Accursed pick, though, because right now it's just a Moira. And while Accursed is, like, not really a bad pick by all means, usually you want to pair that with something or pick it to fight, like, some lane that you know is going to be looking to play aggro.
I know, but I think that BPro, they just generally like picking a Curse quite a bit, so we actually have a Behemoth and a Ra just straight out of the gate here. That's a little, looks a bit like interesting so far this draft. I don't think that any of the heroes are like bad by any means. It's just this combination of heroes. I suppose it's still pretty decent. I think their Curse is still okay against the Moira because naturally you can just remove the shards ahead of time, but I mean, I suppose you can remove most stuns, so nothing in particular that that more in particular.
Is it me or does this VC TRAX lineup scream tri-lane?
Yeah, probably. But well, the thing is with Amon-Ra is that I think that hero is both good in solo lanes and dual lanes, so but the other two heroes are heroes that they previously picked for tri-lane, so they might run like a Behemoth Moira combined with like a Corrupted Disciple. They ran that in the previous series when they were going up against when they went up against Gopratan, so maybe we're gonna have a repeat of that tri-lane. I will say though that some hero like a Curse.
CD.
Yeah, but if they decided to go for those three heroes, I do feel like the side of BPro could consider picking up like a Madman and just running a Madman plus a Cursed against that tri-lane, because I feel like they're going to have very little kill potential with those three heroes against Madman and Cursed, because you can always just you can just basically shield the Madman every time he gets gone on. Okay, we actually have a Corrupted Disciple coming out from the Hellborn.
CD themselves. That is not really like BPro, I would say, to pick up a Corrupted Disciple. Do you think it's more of a like takeaway pick, or do you think they were actually planning to take this CD the whole time?
Something tells me that they probably just realized that they were going to pick that hero, and they decided to pick it themselves. Because I've never seen BPro play Corrupt Disciple themselves before, so I don't think it's bad by any means. I think it does do pretty well with the curse, because you can always conduit someone, and if you get stunned, the curse just immediately removes the stun, and then you can like proceed to chase the person that you use conduit on. And it's also like a range core hero, so a cursed will not be like useless in that lane because he has a range hero that he's laning with. So I don't hate the pick by any means. It'd be kind of interesting to see if they're going to be able to kind of convert this CD pick into something useful. But definitely quite unusual for BPro to pick up this hero.
Yeah, they're gonna go with an Artesia too.
Oh, we're definitely
that's a hero I haven't seen in competitive in a long time.
Yeah, we're going on a completely different route here, just trying something very different. But
is that an Esthon mid lane Artesia, or is that a Artesia support?
I'm going through the names on the team. I don't see anyone.
There is no Esthon. Stop it! Stop it! No, but he's like the only person I remember seeing play Artesia core. So
yeah. I think I've seen him and Sigma played a little bit as well in like a similar style. Something tells me that it's going to be a support Artesia, because I feel like you do need quite a bit of experience to make this hero work as a core hero. One thing that kind of stands out on the Hellborn team is that they only have one disable. And that's the Miraxes. They have no slows or anything on any of the other heroes. I guess you can kind of consider the Arcane Missile as a slow, but in the same way that you can consider the Seer as a slow as well. But in reality, they don't really have any slows on the side of Hellborn or outside of the Quake. That's a stun. So
they're repeating last game. No stuns in team. They only had a Magister.
And if you look at the side of Legion, they have Mara stun with her Arcane Vortex as some kind of disable as well. The Behemoth, who has 3 stuns. Lonia, who has a endless amount of slows as well as a stun. And they have Amun-Ra, who also has a stun as well as a slow. So
Lonia stuns everybody with a staff.
It's true. But if they start falling behind the Hellborn side, they're going to have a tough time actually like picking up heroes with this draft, I feel. So I hope that they're going to get past the laning stage here. They do have some pretty strong laners on the side of Legion here. It's kind of unusual, though, that they decided to go for both Elonia and Defiler. Since those heroes...
Effort.
Yeah.
Oh.
Another hero with no stuns. Is this
a Zephyr game? I'm not sure if I'm seeing it.
No, I don't think it is, from what I can tell, because it does pretty poorly against... Okay. I don't think Zephyr is like that great against some hero like Elonia as well. I guess I
was also thinking the same thing, right? Can't the Elonia just stay very far away and just kite him?
Yeah, it's like I guess it's like a mixed bag where later in the game, if the Zephyr manages to find the Elonia and like drops a Typhoon on her, she's probably going to go down immediately because she has no mobility. But at the same time, if she stands in the back, Zephyr can never really go in because Elonia is just going to hit her with some like frigid fields and stuff, and then he'll just be very slow. So like game on a certain role, maybe they switch it up and be like, you no longer go carry. Now it's my turn or something like that.
Arhuki playing the Artesia, so I guess this will be like a secondary support Artesia.
Is this a jungle or carry Elonia?
Short farm Elonia. Raw going long lane with the Moira.
I've never seen Elonia on safe lane.
I mean, the one thing about this is they can stack up the jungle and he could just get like level... I mean, honestly, I think like level 5 is probably the sweet spot for Elonia. If he gets 3 in the Frigid Field and 2 in the Glacial Spike, just goes into the jungle. He can even buy that big rejuvenation potion, take out triple stacks early. It's not even like that bad to invest the gold. And
they also have the demon set up with the fissure for like a Glacial Spike, Frigid Field, Wrath. So, although I will say though the Cursed is pretty good against Elonia in general. You can kind of remove all the slows coming out from the Elonia, so you don't really have the situation where one hero is gonna get like increasingly more slow to the point where they can't move anymore. with the Accursed as the backup, and also yeah, maybe you're less inclined to commit to hero when he has the fire shield on them. So actually a very unusual lane. I'm kind of curious to see how this plays out. I haven't seen those heroes go up against each other before.
CD Accursed versus Bihi Alonia. That's not your everyday lane matchup. So CD and Alonia duking it out. Backliner, double melee support, just kind of waiting until it's time to throw out spells. And whoever has like the larger patience will probably pay off, because Accursed ideally wants to remove the fissure stun, but also doesn't want to let CD get like crippled.
I think they're actually expecting different lanes. Behemoth didn't buy Samos, and he bought a mana battery, which suggests that he thinks it's some Raxus perhaps, or
maybe. I'm sure he will probably buy an orb now that he sees it's a 2v2 lane. There it is.
He's gonna cut him off. I think if he
good wall.
Yeah, he's actually.
CD's actually stuck here. Right now. He can't auto attack though, which is a little unfortunate. And the Alonius. Yep, sorry.
I will say though that the Behemoth actually, I don't know if he was out of range, but at some point the Corrupted Disciple was actually within tower range. So if he had been quick to stun there, the CD would have been stunned and blocked off at the tower, which would have been pretty dangerous, honestly. They're actually getting
still die here. Fire shield comes in. Something I was thinking of was he didn't have a Blightstone. If he could have eaten one tree, he could have ran into auto attack as well. He had a Lunar Tear and a mana battery, but semantics. He gets a Blightstone and a orb now. The no bloodless kill yet. Defiler gets gusted in middle lane. Body blocks coming in from Doze. Do some good damage with the missiles from Artesia. And this is also not your average mid lane. Artesia Zephyr versus, well, Defiler is relatively normal, I would say.
I honestly think that actually Defiler's gonna have a really hard time laning against those two heroes. The harass from Artesia is kind of unparalleled early on. She has 125 damage on her Arcane Missile with a 4-second cooldown that has a 1200
range. Yeah.
It's really, really hard to avoid, taking very severe harass from that. And you always have to be careful that you don't end up getting like gusted too close. So I could actually see the Defiler going down in the middle lane at some point. Just at least that person has to be very careful.
So does Moira stay top with the Raw against the solo Moraxis, or would like a Defiler Moira lane be worse for them to have running to mid?
I'm actually not quite sure here. I think that although the Moira can't really trigger the shards on the Moraxis because he can always just respond with his Arcane Shield, I still think that well, I guess you can always use the mana stun beforehand if the Amon-Ra is able to land a stun. I just don't know exactly how much the Moira will be able to do middle lane with the Defiler at this stage. Because maybe if he had been there from the get-go, but I think it's fine that he stays top and just kind of secures the farm for the Amon-Ra, and also gets an experience for himself. Because if he starts rotating too much, he might just end up being under-leveled. And you don't want to be under-leveled on Moira because she really needs those levels for her ultimate and Arcane and her Forge. So
I heard you learned yesterday that all the raw spells give regen.
Yeah, I didn't know that previously. I thought it
that's good. So how would you like him to skill? Maxing the Q or maxing the Ashes to Ashes? What do you think is his best choice?
I would max Ashes to Ashes still, because I feel like you probably stun in, and then if you have enough points in the Ashes, the Moraxis can never really man up against you because you have so much like burn damage. So and you can't really burst the Moraxis anyway. So I don't know what's the most usual because I'm not really that much of a raw player myself, but it seems like people mostly opt just to max the Ashes to Ashes. So I probably personally would favor that as well. I think you also farm faster with that one, as far as I know. And I think that's kind of
I can feel the blood. Volka wants to go in with a stun. He keeps canceling it though. This guy won't cast his spells, faking me out. They're both full mana. Here comes a stun on the CD, but the Accursed removes the fissure stun instantly and heals CD back up. So almost like nothing happened, but mana was spent.
So he actually decided to start maxing his Path of Destruction more than his Ashes to Ashes. I'm a bit surprised by that actually, because you can see he's just farming creeps, and like he's just basically cutting the wave and farming jungle as well. And I feel like you'll be farming slightly faster with more points in your Ashes to Ashes.
Oh, bot lane! CD is very low. B, he has a fissure in 1 second! He can't get it off, though! The electric tide came in first. Unlucky timing there from Volca. But CD, capitalizing in his tower, takes out the behemoth.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate that the behemoth ends up feeding there. What do you think the final words from the behemoth were right before he fell to first blood?
Something yelled in a French accent that sounded like something I probably shouldn't say on stream. Not that bad, of course, but you know.
No, actually, we have a gauge from mid lane.
Double stun comes in from the Moira. Artesia goes down. Zephyr only level 5. Gets mana sundered. Can't do anything, unfortunately, to get a return kill. And there's a regen rune on the Defiler. She has her ultimate. She wants to... She will not use it just yet.
You know what? I'm kind of shocked by how the Defiler has more farm. The Zephyr is only on a mere 290 GPM right now. And he's trying to work on these stacks now. And I have some kind of idea that they're not actually going to let him do that for a very long time.
Snark is chasing Ra. I mean, he has a creep wave in tower. He has to choose whether he wants to go for this kill.
He has no ultimate anymore on the Amon Ra. So if he...
okay.
So he has to get back here. And
he gets a haste rune.
But you see
he runs right into him! Oh no! Oh, he has the mana battery. Okay, he's fine. Snark's hitting the axes though. Singwa is baiting here. Oh, there's the Matrix though. He gets enough mana, takes him out. The Filer gets caught in a Typhoon, which means she's gonna fall. There's just too many BPro heroes here. The whole kit and caboodle, all 5. They wanted to defend these stacks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess now that the Zephyr, he did manage to get level 6 right as they came to their jungle, so he managed to connect the Typhoon onto the Defiler, which was enough to bring her down. So that kind of maybe fixes his early game a little bit, but yeah.
BPro's Tricor is all above 300 GPM, so they're with those couple of kills, they're in a 1200 gold lead so far. Still very early though, as we hit 7 minutes, but Zephyr's working on some stacks now. And you were talking about how the Defiler was doing very well. I think that was mostly due to Artesia stacking the woods.
I think Ra is in trouble here again, honestly. Well, maybe not. He's missing some actors here. I don't know if I like this. Like, first of all, I think he was maybe playing a bit too aggressively on the Ra there, like kind of needlessly aggressively.
He doesn't have marchers. He could very easily.
Yeah, he went for a straight Beast Heart instead of buying like boost life tube or something, which is a bit unusual for me.
I don't think they have enough damage here to kill the Moraxes. Good pressure though, coming in. Snark playing very aggro. He has Matrix and the Artesia behind him, but I don't think he wants to use his Chalice here. He did throw out the Quake already. Meanwhile, bot lane B, one more auto attack, he's going to go down to the CD. That was a Zephyr rotation and didn't even have the Typhoon, but they will deny the tower as well. So again, BPro is looking very solid here to start off game 2.
Yeah, but when things are said and done, the balance the gold lead is completely balanced between the two teams right now with an only 500 gold lead.
Yeah, that's due to the tower falling though. It gave a little bit of gold swing back.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, if you look at the XP as well, it's also dead even. So I will say though, the game is still very, very close right now.
Oh yeah.
But I think the tower in the middle tower is also very low at this stage, so we might see this tower fall pretty soon as well.
3 players up here top for Legion. Moraxis getting chain stun. Mana Sunder doesn't have Matrix for 22 seconds, but he did pop his Arcane Shield. Who gets the blame on that one? It's got to be Mex, right? Only targetable ability there. Proc the shield.
Yeah, well, I do think it's probably pretty difficult as a Moira in general to...
nah, we should play him. No, yeah, for sure. No. Unfortunately, it's not an ideal matchup for Mex here. Being the Moira against the Moraxis. But yeah, they did unfortunately miss a kill on the Moraxis. He has this ultimate up and he's going bottom, I guess, to collect this wave. As Zephyr is now top and CD feels content, I guess, holding the mid lane for now.
Yeah, it seems like they're starting to gather on the middle lane here.
5 players here for VC TRAX. They want to collect this mid tower. Bihi going very far forward. They saw the Accursed, I believe. They're trying to find him though. Fog of War runs out. They run into a curse. He should fall here. No deny coming in. Zephyr throws out a Typhoon, though. They're turning their attention towards Alonia. Alonia falls right away. Good trade, though, for BPro, but now Zephyr's in some trouble. Heals coming in from Artesia. They're looking to turn it around. Amun-Ra does have Pyroclasmic Rebirth. He will come back, but here comes now Defiler with the Holy Expulsion. And CD is in a world of trouble. I don't think he has enough team support here to make it out of this one, or does he? The Gust from Doze kicks Defiler out of range, and Yagar Dig survives, and they all run back to base. So they cut the losses there. One player down for each side, and well, maybe a little jungle camps has some casualties.
That was quite the fight, but no real big swings in that fight. Most heroes got out of there with
Zephyr charging forward. Gust back onto the Amun-Ra, but he runs down the cliff. Arcane Vortex from Mex hits 2. They're still holding their tower, by the way, which is why VC TRAX was here in the first place. And they're just going to deny it. That'll be that.
Yeah, so as we spoke about the Zephyr with the Alonia matchup, you can kind of see how if the Alonia like manages to stay far back, she's probably able to kite the Zephyr to some degree. But if Zephyr just comes out of nowhere as a surprise and drops a Typhoon on top of Alonia, they don't really have anything that can save her. Maybe they can land like an Arcane Vortex to save the Alonia for the time being, but otherwise she's complete on her own, and she'll go down very quickly from that Typhoon. So.
Yeah, also choosing to participate in these early engagements without... She didn't have the absolute 0, she just leveled that up now at level 8. And also not having at least a point in the flash freeze. So it kind of hinders her team fight presence a little bit. I would probably prefer if she maybe farms just a little bit more, plays a little bit more for her game.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. But at the same time, though, if let's say he plays by himself and his team goes to fight, then they're playing 4 vs 5 in general, because I think BPro generally will show up with 5 heroes whenever there's a team fight. So it's a bit of a
catch-22.
Yeah, it's a bit of a dilemma for her, because you want to farm, but you also need to apply pressure. So actually the Ra, he's sitting with 430 GPM. And he's doing pretty well, all things considered. I suppose he was in a 2 vs 1 lane technically, so he's kind of expected to have some kind of farm at this stage. The
Alonia and Bihi want to take out this Meraxes. Bihi runs at him. Good wall! Blocks off his pathing. Keeps him in place. The slowest from Alonia. Meraxes has 100 movement speed. He is a sitting duck. And he goes down.
There's just nothing you can do once you have enough of the charges on you from Alonia. You're just going to be slow as they get. So.
He could have tried to TP out, but then B would probably just shockwave him. So probably wasn't going to work.
Yep.
Now he has a point in his flash freeze.
I think it's quite usual to, I've noticed amongst Alonia players, to skip the flash freeze and just actually skip the ultimate.
Oh yeah, I agree. Especially when you're farming, you just want your first 2 abilities leveled out as much as possible. Yeah. It also reduces cooldowns, which is a big part of why you want to max them out ASAP.
Oh yeah, you're right. Actually,
so yeah, they started level 5. They started 5-second cooldown at level 1, and then they always go down by 1 second per level.
I can see.
So CD's getting caught here. Great Arcane Vortex from Mex. They're trying to keep him alive with the curse, but it's just not going to be enough. That's a hasted Alonia, and well, 4 players in general is going to be pretty hard to escape if you're a CD. Anyway.
It's also, if you have all 4 spells skilled, it's a lot of mana you have to go through to use all 4 spells. So it's I suppose the individual spells are more powerful if you're just opting not to skill your flash freeze as well as your absolute 0 on the early levels. So
for sure. So I think items for Alonia this game. Probably will maybe need a tablet this game, but he could also opt into like Grimoire and Post Haste, I think. His probably go-to choices.
Yeah, I would like to see a bit of a greedy, maybe like I think maybe like a light brand or some spell charge or something, just to kind of accelerate her farming a little bit, because he is only sitting on 380 GPM currently, and I do feel like he needs something just to give him that extra edge when it comes to farming, because they don't really have any like significant right-click carries in their team. So he actually does go for the light brand, which seems pretty reasonable to me. It's a nice source of health as well when you're spamming your abilities, and it's very nice damage for that hero. So
nope,
I don't hate it.
I think Lightbrand's pretty solid here. It's gonna run into a Zephyr, maybe? Okay, no. And by the way, while we were talking, the Behe and the Artesia both ended up going down for each team.
Yeah. I saw that there was on the bottom room. Just a small exchange that the Zephyr actually did miss his ultimate in that encounter. But
Moraxis is still needing about 1,000 for PK. We haven't seen that like monster Moraxis performance yet, but once he hits the PK timing, we could see the action pick up.
Yeah. The game is still relatively even. I still think the Legion seems to have the slighter edge currently with a 3,000 gold lead, and I'm not entirely sure as to which hero or which team has the superior late game at the end of the day, because yeah, 2,000 gold might be a small lead currently, but I can tell you in about 20 minutes time or so, 2k gold lead doesn't really matter at all. So
no, it'll probably be held in their inventories as well. Amon-Ra has 3,000 gold, so I think he's gonna go into Bach. Doesn't even have a investment so far this game.
Oh,
they're attempting Kongor. There is no vision here in the area unless there's no vision from BPro.
You think they're aware of this?
They are kind of maybe moving around like they know something's happening.
They're actually setting up a kill, and Moraxis in the bottom lane with 5 heroes.
Another death on the Moraxis, just gonna further that portal key.
That might either it solidifies their Kongor, or they it just seems like
there's a Typhoon down in the background. Amon-Ra burns his Pyroclasmic Rebirth, is gonna come back up. Defiler is here. Doesn't have Ghost though because she used it earlier. It's expired. She's just gonna be able to throw out waves and silences. The shield is up on the Zephyr. They take out the Ra. He's healing with the Cyclones, but he's gonna get kited by the Alonia Falls. Meanwhile, in the background, the Moira goes down, and the supporting cast. There's the Electric Tide, takes out the Behemoth. Double tap comes out for Corrupted Disciple, and they're gonna find that ward placed by Mex. And they also got their own Ward of Sight down in the pit to see the HP of their own Kongor. So I would say that fight was a very good cleanup coming in from BPro. They did lose the Zephyr and the Moraxis, but they ended up getting, I believe, 3 kills in total.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mixed bag here because they did lose, I think, 2 cores, the Moraxis and the Zephyr. But they did get 3 heroes that were the Amon-Ra, who's a core, as well as both Behemoth and Moira, which are support heroes. But they also managed to defend off their Kongor, so I guess in some kind of way you could consider that as a win for the Hellborn side. And the Moraxis was picked off before the team fight actually started. So all in all, I think it was a pretty good situation for the Hellborn, all things considered. So
Snarks, go to the Heart Camp. He's just trying to find whatever farm he can to get to that 2250 mark. That's his goal that he set for himself. Get to that portal key, and he will try to farm it up in the top lane, but has to be very careful with a hasted Alonia in the area.
He might actually try to run into him. I don't think he's aware that he has a haste on him. Maybe he realizes that Alonia has a haste thing.
I think he probably spotted it with this ward from Karhuki in the jungle here. That's actually a Hellborn ward.
You're right, actually.
And Jose just finished his Staff of the Master on the Zephyr.
It's going to be very big for them.
That's gonna try to teamfight control the Legion side with that bigger Typhoon radius.
I like the Staff here. I think Staff on Zephyr is generally a pretty safe item. It gives you both some tankiness from the strength as well as the max health increase. And it also gives you very good control in the team fights with the increased ultimate range, but it also gives you a lot of extra damage with the additional Cyclone. So it's just...
what's it, 4 more? 5 more? Something like that? I think you go from, is it 9 to 13?
Yeah, I suppose it's 4 more. It used to be from 8 to 12, so now it's 9 to 13. So.
Yeah, that got changed. That's why I was like, is it 9? Is it 8? Yeah. Now it's 13 Cyclones. They each deal how much damage? I can't read.
8 per second.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Boy, that feels like they do more than that, doesn't it?
But you have to remember there's
13 of them. it's like around 100 damage or so.
Yeah.
Which is actually a lot of damage. 100.
The charges also, they regenerate themselves faster with the Staff effect as well, so you can heal more you're basically kind of doing once in a while with the stop as well. It's just a very good
nice tool. Would he look to upgrade anyone in his team, perhaps later on in the game?
Yeah, I do think that that's the thing when you're playing Sephiroth as carry. A lot of times if you go for an early stop, you can kind of be inclined to try to help your team out, but Sephiroth is also a hero that needs to frontline, so if you start investing your gold into your teammates too early, it might end up costing your kind of your frontline position. So I
don't feel like any of the... Oh, we have a jump here. Meraxes did get his portal key. They take out the behemoth. Boy, Bolpa is just not going to be anywhere close to portal key anytime soon. Amun-Ra getting his Pyroclasmic Rebirth taken out. Here comes an Alonia Absolute Zero. Good kiting coming in from BPro. Ra's now back alive. They're turning their attention on the Zephyr. He goes down. There is a pause vote coming out mid-team fight. Holy moly.
I can't tell who's in the... I think even though the Ra is really low and then Merax is about to land a double stun, I fail to see how they'll be able to capitalize on this. They're probably going to bring down the Amun-Ra, but with the File Ultimate...
Plus 140. Who is he draining?
Well, actually, he has really high damage. I didn't know that, but he does have a Defiler right next to him. I think he drained the Amun-Ra, who died, and then the draining is no longer on him. So
okay.
That would be my guess. But the Defiler is right next to him with an ultimate. They do have the Essence projection.
CD still has, Curse still has shield as well to...
Yeah, actually they have a lot of tools to if they can... And the Alonia has basically used all her abilities, so... If
I actually think BPro is going to clean this up, judging from what's happening. It's very possible, though, that, like... I think, like, if they can turn their attention toward the Meraxes stun a little bit, I think CD running in and maybe focusing the Alonia here could be good, but there's also a Vortex.
I was about to say, we're kind of disregarding the fact that they could basically just Arcane Vortex the CD and the Curse and just cut them off, and then the Meraxes is going to be by himself with the Ra. And I think right now, even though the stun hasn't connected, I think Amun-Ra is spamming that mana battery harder than anyone has ever spammed the mana battery before.
Smacking his keyboard. Click, click.
So I don't think he's going to be able to get it off, because I'm pretty sure this Meraxes stun is going to be instant. But I think Moira is probably, since they have some time set up, I think Moira's going to ult here, and they're going to try to save the Amun-Ra as well as the Alonia. That would be my guess.
Smashing R button. Okay, there it goes. Amun-Ra! He goes down, Meraxes going down to the Ghost, but now they're out of the Arcane Vortex. CD leading the way, trying to get the heals from the team support. Karhuki doesn't throw out the heals, he was actually throwing out the damage missiles there, maybe a mistake, but Navi goes down. Meanwhile, CD, does he want to fight into the Ghost of Defiler? Can he man up here? Defiler getting very low, but CD falls back, decides not to take the risk, as perhaps he could have been healing up to, always has to keep that into consideration.
Well, actually, it ended up being a 3-for-3 exchange. So again, it seems like
Alonia. We might not be done though. This was actually spotted by Yagar Dig. He gets he sees him. He cancels him with the flash freeze. He's gonna end up maybe falling here. He will. Unfortunate there.
The fight sort of played out as we predicted, with the Moira spamming her Arcane Vortex to cut off the corrupt disciples so they could try to address the Meraxes in the front, but it's been unfortunate that there was a pause in the middle of that fight. It kind of made it too sort of fractious.
MVP of the pause goes to Mex.
It was a bit reversed, this fight, in some sort of way.
Who's on the run here? We got Defiler tableting over the cliff, I think, and they cannot reach him. The portal key was down for Meraxes. By the way, I don't think we touched upon this, but if I recall correctly, I could scroll up and check, but I believe the Artesia was picked up before the Defiler, right? Something Defiler is very good at is taking out gadgets.
Oh, I
would definitely like to see Defiler aiming that Essence projection in the team fights, because that almost reduces Artesia's power, it reduces her power by a lot. When she's not able to throw out double missiles, double heals.
Very significant.
And I think it takes maybe half a second once you right click that Essence projection for the Ghost to just tear it down. So
I will say though that I'm a bit I don't necessarily like that he just went straight for the mug after the helm. I felt like if he had gone for something like Plated Greaves plus Shaman's Headers or something early on, he probably wouldn't have been as he doesn't have to be quite as careful in the fights as he has to be right now.
Is this a BPro Raw? He's got red boots?
It might actually be a BPro Raw.
It's a BPro Raw. It's almost got the mock finish though.
Because I feel like once you have the Shamans and the Plated Greaves, it's just so difficult to bring down the Raw. I know he's going to have the muck faster, but I just don't think he would have died those 2 times probably if he had Shamans plus Helm. Shamans plus Plated Greaves as well. So
he's about 200 off the muck, I believe.
And Ra is still a hero that farms pretty well regardless of his items, I feel, because he doesn't have any mana pool that he has
we
to...
got 4 players in the area here for VC TRAX. B doesn't get in range for a fissure, decides not to go for it. Max will do some pressure here with his Ephemeral Forge in the background. Just pressuring them off the tower. Forces out the glyph from BPro. Here comes the ghost though. This tower, I believe, will not be defended by BPro. They are finishing the Shrunken on CD, which is a big part of why they're giving this up. And Moraxis, did he just right-click a Gnomes? No, I think he sold that. It's probably a misclick. Yeah. I don't think that was actually a Gnomes pickup. But there's a barrier being right-clicked by Zephyr, which he might actually have finished by now, because that was a pretty early staff from Doze. He's almost 500 GPM still.
Do you like the barrier here, or would you prefer to see him go for the Shrunken Red?
Hold the thought, though. Ra is being initiated on here. He gets over the cliff. Can they catch him, though? I don't think they can.
They have
Moraxis is their only initiation, yeah.
CD is sitting at 400 GPM. He just finishes Shrunken. He's got that Steam Boots and Energizer.
Slow. I think Max just got a portal key on Newerth being delivered. 24 minutes here. Pretty solid. He beat the Behemoth by about 1600 gold.
Yeah, the Behemoth is not doing too well, unsurprisingly, but...
he has an Ophelia pact. If he can finish that, that's an insta 700 gold in the bank. Moraxis doesn't get stunned yet. He gets stunned up first. Pops the Matrix. Shockwave comes out. Moraxis blows up. Failed his initiation there, unfortunately. And now they did burn the Raw ultimate. He's back alive. Essence Projection is still up. Vortex in the background holding the Artesia from healing, but they are still very healthy on the side of BPro. And the only player to fall here was Snark, mainly because he just got kicked into an aggressive position, blinking forward, eating all of the ultimates from VC TRAX there, but nothing else really came from that.
I kind of feel like it's starting to feel a bit like the side of BPro are really starting to get kited in these fights, because once they drop the Zephyr ultimate, they're just backing off. They have the Fissure to cut them off. They have the Arcane Vortex. The Elonia is like a perfect hero at preventing heroes from like overcommitting to you, because she's just gonna continuously slow down your whole team if they overstep, and they're just doing a really good job at kind of fighting them off if they're trying to overcommit with the Typhoon as well as the Moraxis initiation. So kind of concerned for the Hellborn team. If they don't manage to do something quite drastic here, I feel like they're gonna fall in a really bad state.
Elonia has Portal Key Spell Shards 1, following up the Grimoire of Power, which is heavily into that caster build. Does need to be careful here, as there are some smokes coming her way. But again, they only really have the Moraxis to catch her. Artesia might throw out a missile here. Oh, I think she's fine. They don't have any tablets or anything to stop the TP.
You can see the Defiler has just finished her Behemoth's heart, so she's going to be very difficult for the Hellborn team to bring down. She's got the tablet as well to make her way out of the Zephyr Typhoon, so...
she's tanky.
Yeah, and I think the kind of the objective for Legion seems just to be to try to avoid the initial initiation from BPro, and then the longer the fight goes, the more it kind of benefits them, in my opinion. So.
Ooh, Volker got his PK. 26 minutes. Finished his Ophelia's pact.
That was considering he was 1600 gold off a few minutes ago. It's pretty surprising he just managed to collect that remaining 1600 gold that quickly. So
they got at least one tower. I think it was just one tower. No, it was last hit by Defiler, actually. Yeah, just one tower, and then Ophelia's packed 700, so I guess he farmed a couple camps.
Yeah, they're going to be working on a Concord kill here.
I'm not sure if he got a tome as well, but he's level 12, which is very good. He's got at least the level 2 shockwave now.
You got the Amon-Ra picking up a Brutalizer here. It's very unusual with the red boots with the Brutalizer. I don't think I've seen that before.
BPro's not doing their Concord just yet. Maybe they haven't read that, but well, they will read it on their screen and hear it announced that Legion has done their Concord. And see if they want to try to attempt their own. And by the way, Snark did go for a gnome, so it wasn't a misclick. He actually bought a gnomes on Moraxis.
Very interesting. I've never seen that before. It's gonna smoke up here, actually.
I think it would have made more sense on the Artesia, but maybe he just hasn't been able to farm it. I mean, he has almost enough gold for it now. And looking at his items, I feel like he wanted to buy it. I hope he doesn't buy one by accident now, because that would be kind of a waste.
It seems a bit unnecessary to buy the gnomes and the Moraxis then if you already almost have it on the Artesia. Especially because it's a more naturally early billet item. Moraxis.
2 minutes wake stun hits Raw and Alonia, but he's all by himself. There's no team support here.
Oh, that's very unfortunate. I think he thought that maybe they were trying to do the Concord or something, but they do have a ward showing the Concord pit, so I don't think they'll be able to defend their Concord anymore. And this 10,000 gold lead is starting to become very significant.
Did you see Snark's Kraken performance yesterday? This guy was playing out of his mind.
Yeah,
This looks almost like a different Snark today.
Yeah, maybe he slept poorly or something.
It's got to be something, man. I don't know. I was like kind of hyped when I saw that Kraken play yesterday. I was like, it's gonna have a big day today.
Yeah, that was a.
And now he goes gnomes on Moraxis, and I'm sad. There's a token of life on VC TRAX on Alonia. Not really the Siege hero, but at the same time, does Defiler really need a token? Or Amon-Ra? They are both hard to bring down in their own right. Typhoon is down, catches Behemoth and Ra, but they walk out of it as it was on the edge. Barbed Armor applied by Doze. TP coming in out from CD. He falls. He picked up a Shroud. Got a kill on the Moira, but he ended up paying for it with his life. Behemoth dies. It's a bloodbath coming out for Alonia. Ghosts are still up from Defiler for 10 more seconds, which should mean this Rexus will fall. Alonia is in the base, going down maybe, no healing up. Does still have the token. Not to forget that. Hatcher coming out, might make it a quad kill. Nope, Ultimate Warrior comes out for the Defiler, and that should do it. Game number 2 and the series will go to VC TRAX, and this one was pretty even for quite a while, I would say, fought a little bit closer of a game than game number 1, but VC TRAX did decide to run away with it toward the end there.